All right, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to do something, or at least try something, that I've seen a couple of videos on the internet about, but kind of want to make my own kind of version of this, and that would be how to drive a manual transmission car. Today we've got the 2011 BMW 328xi with us. This is my daily driver, and I just got it back from the shop a couple days ago. And so I thought what a great idea would be to get into an open parking lot like we're in and just see if I can't show some people how to drive with a manual transmission and see if it helps anybody out there. So yeah, let's jump in the car and let's start. All right, before we get into the actual vehicle, I want to go through a couple of things just to make sure we're on the same page in terms of how the vehicle runs. So in any vehicle, you've got an engine and a transmission. The engine is where the combustion with the gas happens, and that's what gives you your power. The transmission is what takes that power and delivers it to the wheels, right? The wheels are on axles, and to spin those axles, we have to deliver power to them from the engine. That's what the transmission is for. And those things are really important to understand because when you get into one of these vehicles, you are actually in charge of when the transmission and the engine engage and disengage. That's kind of like saying you have more control over the power and how it's placed with the vehicle. And so that's important because when we get into this vehicle here, you're going to notice we have 3 pedals. The 3 different pedals are going to be for your brake, your gas, and for the clutch, which is primarily just engaging and disengaging the engine and the transmission. Now let's hop inside and see where we're at. All right, so actually stepping inside here, the very first thing that we're going to look at is going to be the 3 pedals down here. All the way here on the right-hand side is the gas. The middle one is the brake, just like in any regular car. And then this one over here is your clutch pedal. That clutch pedal is what actually engages and then disengages the engine and the transmission, just like we were talking about. So let's hop into the car now and we'll actually take a look at how we would operate this thing. So before we learn when and how to use that clutch pedal, I want to go through some of the gearing, which will be the last thing that we need to get the entire car moving. And in this 2011 BMW, the gearing is actually on the shift knob. And that's actually quite important, especially for beginners, to learn what gear the car is in at any given time and to learn the pattern, how to go from first to second, second to third, all those, and how to get into reverse. And so here the car is in neutral and the shifter is straight in the middle. And so we'll see how those gears are related with the BMW 6-speed pattern. So here we've got the shifter, right? You can see first gear is a little bit to the left and then up. Second gear is straight below that. Third gear is straight up. Fourth gear is straight down. And then 5 and 6 you can see are a little bit to the right, up and down respectively. And going through those gears is basically just 1, 2, right, 3, 4, and then 5, 6. And you can do that basically in any order you want. You can go from 3 to 1. You can go from 1 to 6. You can go from any gear you want, right? It doesn't matter. As long as you are the one shifting, you can do whatever you want. And this is where that clutch pedal becomes vitally important. No matter what gear you are in, if the engine and the transmission are not engaged, it really doesn't matter. As soon as that clutch pedal comes out and you are engaging the engine and the transmission, that's when you get the car to actually move. So let's get an example through and how you're going to learn how to do this on your own. All right, now that we've got all of the basics kind of figured out, the next thing is to get the car moving. And the best way to do that is to get in the car and let's first get it started up. So we're going to put our foot on the brake, put our foot all the way down on the clutch, and start the car. Now when the car is started, we can put the car into first gear just by moving this into first. Once we've done that, we can take our foot off of the brake entirely. As long as you're on level ground, you shouldn't be moving anywhere. If you are moving somewhere, you're probably not on level ground and you should reset. But assuming you are in first gear and you have only one foot on any of the pedals, which would be your left foot all the way down the clutch, you can start to very, very, very slowly release that clutch pedal until you feel the car start to move. And you can see just barely, the car is starting to move. Once you feel it start to move, you can push it all the way back down again, and that'll disengage the engine and the transmission. And what you want to do, come to a complete stop again. You can use your right foot to do that, but then do that 3 or 4 more times. So you'll see I'm moving and now I'm not moving. And so that is just good practice at finding the bite mark, which is going to be unique to every manual drive transmission, but it's right around the halfway point between a full depressed pedal and an unpressed pedal, I guess you could say. That bite mark is where the engine and the transmission are actually being linked together and they're engaging. And that's how we get the power right from the engine to the wheels. So right now, doing this in a clear parking lot, you'll probably do a lap or two. The next thing is going to be shifting, and so we'll cover that next. All right, so as you're moving down the road, right, what you want to do is you want to shift in with this foot, go into second gear, and then you can release this foot while also applying a little bit of gas. And that's how we can shift up in the vehicle, right? Same thing if you're going from second into third. You'd go clutch in, second, third, clutch out, and you apply a little bit of gas. Here we're going to turn just a little bit so that we are all on the same page. Right, so we're going to be, and then from third, what we can do is shift down. So clutch in at all times whenever you're shifting, pull the gear into neutral first and then into second, and release the clutch. And what you'll notice is that will gear the car down. And we can go the same thing from second into first. All right, so once we've gone through shifting up and shifting down, we can come to a complete stop, and I'm going to show you how to park the vehicle. So once you're completely stopped, the first thing you're going to want to do, and you're ready to exit the vehicle, is make sure the car is in gear. So I push the clutch all the way down, I put my foot on the brake just like it normally is, and then I put the car into first gear. So I go ahead and do that, and then I pull up on the emergency brake. And that right there will make sure that the car is stationary when I then turn the car off, put my foot off of the clutch, then release the brake, and now I can step out of the vehicle. And that is how you would park a manual car. And so hopefully this guide helps anybody out there who's trying to learn how to drive one of these manual cars. If you have any tips, tricks, or any comments, put them down below, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.